As we step into a new year, we are presented with a choice: to repeat the same patterns of the past or to elevate ourselves to new levels of success, discipline, and achievement. The truth is, if you want a different 2025, you cannot be the same person you were in 2024. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intention, focus, and an unshakable commitment to becoming better. This is not the time for wishful thinking. This is a time for action. This is the time to take full control of your mind, your habits, and your destiny. You must break free from the old version of yourself that hesitates, doubts, and delays. If you want to win in 2025, you must decide right now that you will do better, think better, and live better. The future you desire is not built on hopes or empty resolutions. It is constructed by the choices you make every single day. Every decision, no matter how small, creates a ripple effect that extends into the months and years ahead. The way you wake up in the morning, the way you respond to challenges, the way you discipline your mind, these are not insignificant moments. They are the foundation of your success or the reason for your stagnation. If you want 2025 to be the year that transforms your life, you must recognize that nothing happens by chance. Every result, every opportunity, every breakthrough is a direct outcome of what you choose to do right now. The mind operates in patterns. It seeks familiarity, comfort, and repetition. If you continue to make the same choices as last year, you will create the same experiences. You cannot expect new outcomes while maintaining old behaviors. This is why change feels difficult for so many, because breaking a habit means disrupting the identity that has been built over time. But if you truly want something different, you must step beyond the cycle of what is known and step into the possibility of what could be. Your thoughts dictate your actions, and your actions dictate your future. If you continue to tell yourself that you are not ready, that you are not capable, that success belongs to someone else, then you will create a reality where those limitations are true. But the moment you decide to think differently, to see yourself as someone who is in control of their destiny, everything shifts. The energy you put into each moment, the commitment you bring to each task, the belief you have in yourself, it all begins to manifest into something greater. When you choose to be disciplined, when you choose to prioritize your growth, when you choose to push through resistance instead of retreating into old patterns, you are making a statement about the future you are building. Success is not a single event. It is a series of decisions that align with a greater vision. If you want 2025 to be the year where you elevate your life, you must elevate your standards, your habits, and your daily choices. The question is not whether success is possible. The question is whether you are willing to do what is necessary. Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for growth? Are you willing to let go of excuses? Are you willing to take full responsibility for your results? Because the moment you do, the moment you truly commit to making better choices, everything begins to change. Your potential is not something that will simply appear in the future. It is something you activate in the present moment. Right now, in this very second, you have the power to shift the trajectory of your life. But it requires action. It requires awareness. It requires the willingness to make the choices that your future self will thank you for. Patterns dictate the way you live. Every thought you repeat, every habit you maintain, every reaction you default to, it all forms the structure of your life. These patterns are deeply ingrained, built from past experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. Some of them serve you, pushing you forward, strengthening your discipline, and aligning you with success. But others keep you trapped, holding you back, limiting your potential, and making you believe that change is beyond your reach. If you are not aware of the patterns that control you, you will continue to live in a cycle of repetition, making the same mistakes, facing the same obstacles, and wondering why things never change. Breaking the cycle is not easy because the mind craves familiarity. It will always try to keep you where you are, convincing you that change is too difficult, too risky, or too uncomfortable. The thoughts you have repeated for years have created a neurological blueprint in your brain, reinforcing the same emotions and behaviors. If you want different results in 2025, you must become conscious of the patterns that no longer serve you. You must be willing to step outside of the familiar, to challenge your own beliefs, and to rewire your mind for something greater. Procrastination is a pattern. Self-doubt is a pattern. Making excuses is a pattern. Avoiding discomfort is a pattern. These are not just habits. They are deeply embedded programs that dictate your behavior on a subconscious level. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, every time you choose distraction over focus, every time you choose fear over action, you reinforce the same cycle. But the moment you decide to interrupt that pattern, the moment you refuse to operate on autopilot, you begin to reclaim control over your life. Awareness is the first step. You cannot change what you are not conscious of. Pay attention to the moments when your mind tries to pull you back into old ways of thinking. Notice when resistance shows up, when fear creeps in, when the urge to quit becomes strong. These are the moments where transformation begins. Because if you can catch yourself in the act of repeating an old pattern, you have the power to choose differently. And the more you choose differently, the weaker those old patterns become. Disrupting a pattern requires action. It requires you to do the opposite of what you are used to. If you always avoid challenges, you must now seek them out. If you always delay taking action, you must now execute immediately. If you always tell yourself that you are not good enough, you must now affirm your worth and step into your potential. The mind will resist. It will try to convince you to return to what is safe and known. But if you push through that resistance, if you refuse to fall back into old behaviors, you begin to rewire yourself for success. You begin to create new patterns, patterns that align with growth, discipline, and achievement. Your mind is the control center of your entire reality. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, and every expectation you set creates the lens through which you experience life. If your mind is wired to see obstacles, limitations, and failure, then that is exactly what you will encounter. But if your mind is conditioned to see possibilities, opportunities, and success, your reality will begin to shift. The world you live in is not just a collection of external events. It is a reflection of your internal programming. If you want to create a better life in 2025, you must first rewire your mind to support that vision. Your brain is not fixed. It is constantly adapting to the thoughts and emotions you feed it. Every time you entertain a thought, you strengthen the neural connections associated with it. When you repeatedly think about your failures, your brain reinforces the identity of someone who struggles. When you continuously focus on doubts, your brain solidifies the habit of hesitation. But the moment you decide to shift your focus, the moment you choose to think differently, you begin to rewire your brain for success. You are not a prisoner of your past beliefs. You are not bound by the limitations you once accepted as truth. You have the power to reshape the way you think, and by doing so, you reshape the way you live. The process of rewiring your mind begins with awareness. Pay attention to the thoughts that dominate your internal dialogue. Do you constantly tell yourself that you are not ready? Do you dwell on past mistakes? Do you assume that success is reserved for others? These patterns have been running in the background, influencing your actions and decisions without you even realizing it. The first step to change is recognizing these mental programs and interrupting them before they take control. You must become the observer of your own mind, catching yourself when negative patterns arise and replacing them with empowering beliefs. Reprogramming your mind requires repetition. You cannot think positively for one day and expect everything to change. Just as old patterns were reinforced over time, new ones must be deliberately installed through consistent effort. When you wake up in the morning, set an intention for the day. Speak to yourself in a way that builds confidence rather than doubt. Visualize the person you want to become, not the failures of the past. Train your mind to expect progress, not setbacks. The more you practice this, the more your brain will adapt and the more effortless success will become. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but it will work against you if you do not take control of it. If you continue to think in the same way, you will continue to create the same life. But if you choose to rewire your mind, if you commit to thinking bigger, believing stronger, and acting with certainty, you open the door to a future that is no longer dictated by past limitations. Growth does not happen in the space of comfort. The mind is wired to seek what is familiar, to stay within boundaries that feel safe, and to avoid anything that brings uncertainty. But the very thing that keeps you comfortable is also what holds you back. If you want to do better in 2025, if you want to rise to a new level, you must be willing to step beyond what is easy. You must recognize that everything you desire exists just beyond the limits of your comfort zone. And the only way to reach it is by making the decision to embrace challenge instead of avoiding it. Discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Every time you push yourself to do something difficult, you expand your capacity. Every time you resist the urge to take the easy way out, you strengthen the discipline that leads to mastery. Growth is not about waiting until you feel ready. It is about taking action before you feel prepared. The greatest breakthroughs in life do not come from moments of ease. They come from moments of struggle, from moments when you push beyond what you thought was possible. The body resists, the mind resists. But if you keep going, if you refuse to give in, you will discover a version of yourself that is stronger than you ever imagined. People who stay in their comfort zones never achieve their full potential. They settle for mediocrity because it feels safe. They avoid risks because they fear failure. They choose short-term pleasure over long-term fulfillment. But the cost of comfort is far greater than the cost of effort. Every time you take the easy route, you reinforce the habit of staying small. Every time you avoid discomfort, you tell your mind that growth is not a priority. The people who succeed, the people who reach the highest levels of achievement, are the ones who deliberately put themselves in situations that force them to grow. They seek out challenges. They embrace struggle. They understand that the path to success is not supposed to be smooth. It is supposed to test them, to push them, to break them down so they can rebuild stronger. You cannot wait for the perfect moment to begin. You cannot wait for motivation to strike. The mind will always come up with reasons to delay, to hold back, to stay where it is comfortable. But success is built on the moments when you take action despite the resistance. It is built on the days when you don't feel like showing up, but you do it anyway. It is built on the times when you are exhausted, uncertain, and filled with doubt, but you refuse to quit. If you want something different in 2025, you must decide that comfort is no longer an option. You must be willing to lean into the hard moments, to embrace the struggle, and to trust that every ounce of effort is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Your habits shape your future. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every routine you follow is either moving you closer to success or pulling you further away from it. There is no neutral ground. What you do daily is what determines who you become. If you want to do better in 2025, you must take full control of your habits. You must eliminate the ones that weaken you and replace them with the ones that empower you. Your potential is not dictated by talent, luck, or circumstances. It is dictated by the small, seemingly insignificant choices you make every single day. Repetition is what programs your mind and body. The reason you feel stuck is not because you lack ability. It is because you have conditioned yourself to operate in the same patterns for so long that they feel automatic. If you have spent years procrastinating, avoiding discomfort, or making excuses, those behaviors have become second nature. They are not just things you do, they are who you are at a subconscious level. But just as bad habits are built through repetition, good habits can be built the same way. The key is consistency. You cannot rely on motivation because motivation is fleeting. You must rely on discipline, on the commitment to follow through no matter how you feel. Small changes, when repeated consistently, create massive results. Most people fail because they underestimate the power of compounding actions. They think transformation requires drastic changes overnight. So when they don't see immediate results, they give up. But real progress is the result of doing the right things every single day, even when it seems like nothing is happening. It is waking up early even when you don't feel like it. It is choosing to read instead of scrolling mindlessly on your phone. It is putting in the work even when there is no instant reward. These small decisions may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they determine the trajectory of your entire life. You must set standards for yourself that demand more than what is comfortable. You cannot allow laziness to be an option. You cannot allow inconsistency to be a habit. The moment you decide that your goals matter more than your excuses, you begin to take control of your future. Success is not something that happens by accident. It is something that is built through relentless effort and unwavering commitment. Every day is an opportunity to reinforce the habits that lead to growth. Every action you take is either proving to yourself that you are disciplined or proving to yourself that you are not. If you want to be great, you must act like it before you see the results. Your daily habits determine your level of success, and the only way to change your life is to change what you repeatedly do. It is not about one big breakthrough. It is about showing up every single day, putting in the work, and trusting that every disciplined action is shaping the future you are committed to creating. Your environment plays a powerful role in shaping who you become. The people you surround yourself with, the information you consume, and the energy you allow into your life all influence the way you think, feel, and act. If you want to do better in 2025, you must take full responsibility for the environment you create. You cannot expect to grow if you are constantly surrounded by negativity, distractions, and influences that pull you away from your purpose. You must be intentional about the spaces you operate in and the people you allow into your life, because they are either helping you move forward or keeping you stuck in the same place. The human brain is wired to adapt to its surroundings. If you spend your time around individuals who complain, make excuses, and settle for mediocrity, their mindset will begin to shape your own. You may not even realize it, but their energy, their habits, and their beliefs will slowly condition you to accept less than what you are capable of. But when you surround yourself with people who think bigger, push harder, and demand more from themselves, your entire mindset begins to shift. You start to see new possibilities. You begin to expect more from yourself. You realize that growth is not just an idea, it is a way of life. The standard you set for yourself will always be influenced by the standard of those around you, which is why you must choose wisely. Your environment is not just about people, it is about what you feed your mind daily. If you spend hours consuming content that adds no value, if you fill your time with distractions instead of knowledge, if you allow negativity to take up space in your thoughts, you are programming your mind for failure without even realizing. But when you become intentional about what you allow into your mental space, everything changes. Read books that challenge you to think differently. Listen to voices that inspire and push you to grow. Protect your focus from things that drain your energy and add no value to your future. The information you consume is shaping your beliefs, and your beliefs are shaping your reality. The spaces you spend time in also affect your ability to perform at your highest level. If your environment is filled with clutter, disorder, and chaos, it will be difficult to operate with clarity and focus. But when you create a space that reflects discipline, order, and intention, your mind follows. Clean up your surroundings, remove distractions, build an environment that makes it easy to stay consistent and hard to fall into old habits. When your space supports your goals, success becomes a natural byproduct. You must take control of your surroundings with the same level of discipline you apply to your actions. Elevate the people you allow into your life. Filter the information you consume. Design an environment that reinforces the person you are becoming. The energy around you is constantly influencing you, and when you control that energy, you control your growth. The future is not something that happens to you. It is something you create through your actions, your mindset, and your commitment to growth. If you want to do better in 2025, you must take full responsibility for every decision you make. You cannot rely on external circumstances to determine your success. You cannot wait for motivation to appear or for the perfect moment to arrive. Everything you need to transform your life is already within you, but you must be willing to do the work. You must be willing to break old patterns, to challenge your limitations, and to step into the discomfort that leads to real change. Growth begins the moment you stop making excuses and start taking action. It begins when you decide that your potential is worth more than your fears. It begins when you commit to a higher standard for yourself, one that demands more than what is easy or convenient. You cannot afford to stay where you are. You cannot afford to let another year pass by without stepping into the version of yourself that you know you are capable of becoming. The habits you build, the discipline you enforce, and the environment you create will determine the trajectory of your life. Success is not about luck or talent. It is about who is willing to show up consistently, who is willing to push past resistance, and who refuses to settle for less than their full potential. The work will be hard, the path will challenge you, but every step forward will bring you closer to the life you deserve. If you commit to this journey, if you refuse to let comfort dictate your future, 2025 will not just be another year, it will be the year you finally step into the greatness that has been waiting for you all along. Thank you.